Welcome, family, to the Dog Star Weekly Podcast with my co-host, Brother Akeem Bradley. Say what's up, Akeem.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And we got a special guest in the house, Brother Zachary Richardson.
What's going on, Ray?
All right. Tell the people about yourself, why you here this evening.
Well, we just came on the show just to talk to you about some of the things we got going on down in Florida, mainly around helping kids to be able to do well in school and do well in life.
I got some feedback. I don't know if that's your phone or.
No, we good on my end.
Talk, I can hear.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just like when you talk, it's like I can hear like a feedback. I don't know what it is.
The microphone probably rolling up against the shirt or something like that.
How about now? You getting feedback, Ray?
A little bit, but go ahead.
Hold on one second. Let me try this out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No feedback?
It's still getting some kind of. Do you hear it, Akeem, or is it just me?
No, it's just you. I don't hear it.
All right, well, go ahead. Go
I
continue.
put the headphones off, so get a better clarity. So,
It sounded like what Doja phone was doing at that time. Go ahead.
okay. You good?
Yeah.
No, but again, my name is Zach Richardson. I'm out of Tallahassee, Florida. I want to talk about what we can do to help these kids to do well in school and do well in life. And so for me, I created a company, two companies, one called the Academic Doctor and the other's called the Character Center. And it's designed to help more kids increase their GPAs and make sure they can go to school for free. So that's what I do, man. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Like
Yes.
it's just like a little, I don't know what it is, but so exactly what do you do to help the children? Like, what's exactly your goal? Like, what's your mission?
See, the mission is to make sure that more of our kids are receiving a free education, but mainly to help them live in the Black. And so we all know that right now, there's so many kids that going to college and leave college with a lot of debt. With our program, we ensure that those kids who qualify to go to college is going to enter school without having to pay back loans because they're going for free. And they get to go for free in Florida if they have a certain GPA and a certain ACT or SAT test score. So my number one job is to look at their transcript, help them increase their grade point average, and then make sure they get the right ACT or SAT test score. If they don't have the cut, we try to refer them out either to the military or have those kids get a trade because college is not for everybody. So that's the main point. There's the whole deal that being fiscally responsible and economically sound. And so if kids going to school for free, they don't worry about paying these loans when they finally walk across that stage. And that's our goal and our mission.
Do you have any personal experiences that kind of brought you to this endeavor?
Yeah, the endeavor came from the fact that I have a very unique background. My father was a pharmaceutical sales rep. The only problem was he didn't have no license, and he found himself in a situation of being incarcerated. And so growing up, there was a situation with being with no father. But on top of that, most folks don't know I'm autistic. And that's very challenging. So I know what it's like to go around and go to college and be teased and people not understand my condition. So I say I want to make sure people understand that being autistic don't mean you're stupid. And so the reality is now helping more kids.
Who teased you in college, man?
Man, this cat named Ray Sean, man. He from my station, Cleveland. They had this thing they called say Florida Razor because I couldn't say Florida, and so I just say Florida. And every chance I get, they say this boy country as hell. He from down south. That's one of the most southern boys. And they tease about Luke Skywalker and everything else, but it's all good.
It's all go figure.
It's all good. It's all good.
So how do you carry out your program? Like, do parents reach out to you? Is there a fee for this? How do parents connect with you in this program if they're interested in helping their kids increase their ACT and SAT scores?
Well, there's two folds. One is come through referral, and then the other come from word of mouth. My referral clients come out of Title I schools. Title I schools are schools where kids are falling below the poverty level or they're receiving free or reduced loans. And so normally there are great athletes who cannot qualify for the NCAA requirements. And so I have head coaches referring kids to me to help them get the bare minimum, like a 19 ACT score. And that helps them to qualify to play ball next fall. And the other side is people who got money. I have a lot of wealthy clients who understand that if they have kids who qualify, then they can take their prepaid college fund, cash it in, and do other things with it, and these kids can go for free. So by having a certain GPA and having the right scores and doing some community service, kids can go to school for free. Any school in the state of Florida, if they have the right GPA.
So what's your success rate?
We have probably about a 78% success rate. That all depends. We all can talk about stats all day, but the truth of the matter is that if I can get any kid in soon enough, preferably second semester of their sophomore year, I have probably about a 95 to a 98% pass rate. If a kid comes to me later, then it makes it very difficult because they have less time to take the ACT over again to make massive improvements. So I prefer if they come to me earlier, that increase my success rate. The kids coming in late, it kind of decrease my level of success because I don't have enough time to help the kids out.
Now, do you offer these services to people outside of the Florida area? Like, do you have like an online, like if somebody here in Cleveland wanted to connect with you and join, you know, and get a membership or enroll? Is it something online that they can do?
Yeah, great question, Ray. Great question. The thing is, we do Skype calls, and Skype calls come through referrals. I have kids as far as in China. I have kids in Finland. I have kids out in California and kids in Texas. One of the things that we're seeing now is how we up our operation, being that the coronavirus is here now. And so we're not able to see our clients face to face. So, but what makes it difficult is I have a staff, and my staff in my building is 4,500 square feet. So we can hold about 15 kids at a time. Now, but when you Skype, you only can do one-on-one because every kid has a different learning challenge. And so it's going to get a little tricky in the next couple of weeks, but we're planning right now, how do we triage our kids, you know, no pun intended, where we have low level, medium level, high level functioning kids. So I can Skype with about 6 kids at a time and still be able to generate the revenue that I need to survive. And that's what we're working on right now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So are you taking advantage of these economic incentives that the government is giving for small businesses?
Well, one of the things that's happening is all talk right now. It's being talked about, but no one has voted upon it yet. So the reality is we're waiting, and we're going to take full advantage of any welfare that the government decide to give us. We ain't too proud to get the money that's going to be out there. I'm going to try to get every dime that's deserved to me because I'm a taxpayer. And so if the federal government going to give me some money back, your boy taking it. Bottom line. It's just how it works.
You got any questions, Mr. Aki, brother Aki?
Yeah, you mentioned that you not only help students to get their grades up to go to a college or a university, but also to maybe a trade school after graduation. What is your success rate for those that don't go on to an institution of higher learning or a college or a university, but go to a trade school, AC, or whatever it may be, welding, mechanic?
Well, see, our success is coming from the fact that we do an assessment and we make sure that that kid is going on the right trajectory.
Okay.
With all the different rules and laws changing when it comes down to the trade industry, we want to make sure that kid qualifies for that trade. Oftentimes, people are quickly to say, well, put them in trade school. But in certain states, a kid that go to a trade school must pass certain exams and must be up under the tutelage of a reputable company. And that can be very challenging with so many discriminatory factors that our kids face. So if I get a young man, I got to do a background check to make sure that if he's going to go into the industry that's dealing with HVAC, that he can actually go to a store and actually use that that trade, because that even with having a trade, some folks won't give you a job.
Yeah.
Because of your past experience. So we have to find out what best fits. Another part is a lot of our kids want to go to trade, but not realizing that trade that they go through, they must pass the state board. And if that kid has a learning deficiency, we got to prepare them academically before we can begin to even start on our path to get them ready for trade school. And so it's a twofold process.
Okay. And And also with another question, also with this coronavirus outbreak, and you mentioned doing some tutoring via, did you say Skype?
Skype,
I think
yeah,
it
we
was.
use Skype call. Yes, sir, Skype.
Skype. Do you perceive in the near future that a lot of our educating is going to be done via Skype
I believe
because of this corona outbreak?
I think it's deeper than that. I think this dialogue is going to enhance what the liberal media, the liberal society, with this free education is going to try to do. This is it's a perfect storm that's brewing. If they can justifiably say that it's cost effective to have kids to be at home and take these college courses and rake them across the coal with these high expenses to use the service, then this is going to be our new wave. So before, everybody's reluctant about going online. Now everybody must go online.
Mm-hmm.
Most people think that it's cheaper to be online than it is to be face-to-face, when it's the direct opposite. It costs our economy when kids are not in a different location, buying into E.N.T, things of that nature, buying books, buying clothes, getting local jobs, helping local businesses. When they're sitting at home, they're just sitting behind a computer. There's no buying power. They're sitting there learning a lesson. There's an efficacy issue also. How do we know if that kid is actually doing the work? How do we measure how much they're learning if they're behind this computer screen? Yes, we can give tests, but just like you and I are talking, I can have somebody behind the screen give me the answers. You can't detect that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times you would like for our kids to communicate more effectively with the human than to be behind a screen. Because it's nothing like having that face-to-face interaction so that you and I can have civil discourse face-to-face, not by way of phone or not by way of screen. I can say a lot through the screen, but man to man, if there's something that's going to go down, I might change my my vocabulary a little bit.
Right.
That's the part that scares me. That really bothers me when we talk about going that route. Yeah.
Okay.
I see that Cleveland hat on your head, man. So I take that you're a Brown fan.
Oh, all day, every day.
So I have a question. What's your thoughts about athletes leaving college before they earn a degree and entering the NFL, only to not remain there for 2 years? And if they don't get 3 years, then they don't get retirement. So what's your take on what we could do, brother, to make sure that our next wave of athletes who are playing for the NFL comes with a degree in tow?
Oh, okay. That's a very in-depth question and kind of personal with me because I, as Rayshawn know, I ran my sport is track and field, and I went on to become a professional track and field athlete. But to get to your question, I think we should first must realize that the language when it comes to what we now call the student athlete was changed from its original language. We were once called, the student athlete were once called amateur athletes. And if I'm an amateur athlete, then I'm an employee of the university or college. And if I'm an employee of the university and college, then I must we benefits.
Yeah.
Then the language was changed to student athletes. Now that you're a student, you're no longer an employee, nor could you form a union.
Yes, I got you. So do you think it's necessary for one of these kids to be compensated for their athleticism?
Yes.
And so which someone is paying for their room and board, is that not an expenditure? And if they receive a stipend, as most people like, how do you justify the payroll? So that if this young man or young woman applies for FAFSA, and they get a check from the university, how do we take that into consideration of how much one athlete get paid over the other athlete when it's time to pay the taxes at the end of the year? That becomes one of my.
Yeah, and that's something that me and a lot of my teammates and other athletes will talk about from time to time. And one thing that needs to be understood, that just because what we call the student athlete, the athlete is being reimbursed room and board, books, meals, or whatever the case may be, that is not enough, because every student athlete do not get a 100% full ride scholarship. I don't care what sport it is. Not every, no professional athlete, no college athlete gets a full ride in any college or university. I don't care what anybody say. You have to know the lingo.
Yes.
Every year, no matter how good you are, no matter how good I was in track and field, I'm gonna use myself for example. I was one of the best in the country, one of the best in the world. Every year, my coach had to go to the athletic advisor and say, okay, I want Ike to have another year.
Now, Keith, did you end up going to a HBCU or did you go to a predominantly white institution, PWI?
I went to a predominantly white
Mississippi
State University.
Okay, now this is one of the things that has changed in a while. What are some of the things that coaches can do now is to make sure that a kid receive a partial academic scholarship, a partial athletic scholarship, and then they can go after some of the presidential awards to kind of offset their expenditure. My question that I have when I talk to coaches all the time is that how do we collectively look at the total packet of what it's going to take to fund a kid in order for he or she to be that student athlete, and once they arrive on campus, they can kind of demand and justify needing an extra check to cover their expenses without it hurting them or burdening their family. And that's kind of what we're looking at now. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because one of the things that we don't, well, I'll say we, I'm gonna stop saying we, Ray taught me that, what some people don't understand, when I deal with my wealthy clients, both black and white, what they're starting to do with student athletes, they're going ahead to emancipate this kid while he or she in 10th grade. If they emancipate in 10th grade, they're not claiming taxes. So this kid is totally poor. So he gets the grant money, he gets the athletic money, and then they come to me for the academics. So now they get the academic money. So when it's all said and done, this kid can get money back before they even give them to introduce the new world with paying athletes to be athletes. That's going to be the second part.
Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't look at it as paying athletes to be athletes. These universities and colleges reap mad financial benefits from the sweat and the work and ethic of these athletes. And there's no way that you're selling jerseys. You're selling TV time. You're getting commercial money. You're selling out these stadiums, and that revenue is going to the university, and the student athlete gets none of that.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these guys up here don't come from good homes. So you say, okay, I got a bed and I got something to eat. But come on, we all know you need money in school, dude.
They do get some. They getting books. They getting room and board. They getting a meal. They getting a uniform.
But okay,
they get travel. They get insurance.
Financial aid. Financial. I got the same thing for financial aid.
Yeah.
I didn't pay to go to school because I was poor.
Yeah.
I went to school for fucking free, and I played basketball. But what did they have to give me? But a book, but some books.
But Ray, do you have no loans? I mean, in school, do you not have a loan?
The only loans I had, I took out because I wanted money back at the end of the semester.
Okay, so you got double taxed.
So I didn't, but I went to school for free. I had to pay for grad school. That's what got me all in debt.
Yes,
but for undergrad, I didn't have to pay for undergrad. All I had to do was make sure I had my financial aid and my paperwork done on time. And my financial aid was covered every year. I've never set out and had a back balance. I never went through those issues.
But see, I was an out-of-state student. When I went to Wilberforce, I was an out-of-state student. And because of my adopted mother's income, I had to pay to go to Wilberforce. And I was shocked when I got out to Wilberforce and met so many dumbasses. I was very shocked, and I love my university. Wilberforce is a beautiful school, but it was amazing to know how many people was on campus who didn't even know the 8 parts of speech. And as I went further and I learned more and more what's happening, there was a lot of recruitment taking place, and there was kids who were being slammed on our campus who should have never been on a college campus. And we continue to see that on these university campus, and still with athletes. Some kids do not need to be on a college campus. No more said.
Yeah. And I would say for myself, I wanted to attend an HBCU. I was recruited by several here in Atlanta, but I didn't have the money. I couldn't afford it. My parents couldn't afford it. So the next option for me was to attend a predominantly white institution. I went to junior college first and then graduated, went on to Mississippi State University. And I did that because I followed the money.
Yeah.
Now, was I right? Was I wrong? Tomato, hey, that's in the air. But I make no excuses for making the decision that I made, because I had a beautiful experience at Mississippi State University, and learned a lot, experienced a lot, so forth and so on. But me being a student athlete, like Rayshawn, hey, I grew up poor. I grew up in the hood. You know, when I first went off to college, I literally went to college with $8 in my pocket. I just had enough money to barely catch the plane there, and then catch the bus from the plane to the campus. And you know, I didn't have any money to eat, so I had to run to myself. You know,
I think we got a similar story, bro. We came from meager beginnings, and we had to hustle to make it through college.
yeah,
And, you know, I remember working at me and Ray worked at a store called the B&E store together, and I was a manager.
See, but me as a student athlete, I couldn't get a job. If I go out and get a job so I can buy my necessities,
That's that bullshit.
Yeah,
I would lose my scholarship.
yeah, that's not necessary. I think that should have been covered. I think if you're an athlete, they should cover all your expenses. My issue why I had to work, because I was paying child support my freshman year of college. I already had a little one coming out of high school, and so for me, they was taking child support from me while I was in school, and so I had no choice but to work or come back home. And
Yeah,
while I do understand that was my decision to engage
yeah,
in that situation, I think that there needs to be an adjustment to the system, which give you,
most definitely.
yes, time off until you complete that degree. But for me, state of Florida wasn't having it. If you decide to better yourself, we're going to go ahead and get that money right now while you're in college. And then if you have an arrearage, after you complete it, we're going to take all that away from you.
Oh
If
yeah,
you got federal money, if I got my work study check back and they saw any money on there, they took that money immediately and
yeah,
applied it to my child support. So I didn't have no option but to work. And
yeah,
so I ended up working at a drive-through liquor store, and I also ended up working on campus just to kind of pay for my tuition. And
yeah.
it was ridiculous. But
You know,
I survived.
and as far as working, you know, like I said, I couldn't work. I'll lose my scholarship. So what I would do is every weekend during track season, we would get X amount of dollars to eat, or per diem to eat. And I will save some of my per diem so I can buy my necessities,
Mhm.
and then go to the step show and take my girlfriend to the movie or something like that, or put a little gas in my car when I did get a car. You know, but like I said, if I got a job, I would lose my scholarship. If I got a sponsor, if I got a sponsor, I would be considered a professional athlete. I would lose my scholarship. Mm-hmm. So to go back to allude to what Rayshawn was talking about, you know, should we get paid? Should they get paid? We get paid. We definitely should. Athletes should get paid.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I agree with that.
Paid in school, but they're making it's in the millions per university, depending on the size of the university.
Yeah,
And
per game.
Huh?
Millions per game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Per game. Yes, per game, and that's just regular season. We're not talking about the playoffs. That's just regular season. Wow. But I think I can't remember which one of you brought the question up. If you're a football player, basketball player, no matter what sport you're in, how would you determine what amount will get paid? You know, which athlete would get paid what amount? Because some sports bring in more money than other sports. And the solution I came up with, talking to some of my ex-schoolmates, were whatever the minimum amount is for public assistance, it should be doubled and given to that student.
I agree with you. I think another plan that could be implemented is based upon the student stats. It's just like at the end of the season, you have coaches receiving bonuses if they make it to the division next level. I think a percentile based upon that student stats should be monetized, so that at the end of the year, they collectively say this particular week we did 200 yards, so they get paid by the yard. They get paid by the wins. They get paid for number of shirts being sold. They get paid for the public speaking events. They get paid for every little thing they do to get monetized. So I would like for the young men to establish a 1099 so they can become their own brand. And so if they decide to take an interview or sell their own product, they get a percentage of their own product. So the university can say, well, we'll get 90% off that jersey sold. That kid can still negotiate 10% and walk away and get to see the sales that's being generated off his name. And then that would kind of even the playing field so that they'll make sure our kids are receiving what they should be receiving.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. Now, but taking that same plane in regards to football, how would you apply that towards other sport, like my sport, track and field? Because we don't have the number of yards, you know. You know.
See, with the track and field thing, it's in the same kind of manner. You know, you guys are going on these regional meets, and so I would start with a stipend, and I would allow the student athlete to be able to market themselves. If there's a local company in town, you're the top athlete, and they got somebody who maybe Sprite or Atlanta, they got Coca-Cola Company. Or if you're Mississippi, you find that franchise who want to get their name and put that child behind them, and then you can negotiate with them directly. The school, university, legal department will handle the side of it, but you might be on the front box of a Wheaties box with Mississippi State across your chest.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, you give them a chance to go out there and market themselves. If they got the wherewithal, or if they have that knowledge base, and they're a law-abiding citizen, let them go out there and sell themselves.
Now with the colleges and universities, because it's going to happen. I believe it's going to happen. They're going to have to pay the athletes, male and female. With that being said, when it happens, do you think it's going to pour more melanated athletes to the HBCUs or not?
That's going to be interesting. I think. Go ahead, Ray.
Hold on. Just a little tidbit. Ohio State football coach made $4.5 million last year.
Alabama head coach made, I believe it was he makes $6 million a year.
I remember when my man was here in Tallahassee, before Bobby Bowden, he ended up making like $5.6 million a year. And I think now it's time to go ahead and pay the student athlete their how would I put it? A fair living wage. They need a fair living wage, take care of these boys, and go forward. But then everybody want to use the excuse if we start paying them, then people might start, betting on the side and doing things like that. But you can't control
that already.
You can't control that.
We're doing that already.
Absolutely. So that's an excuse for not paying our kids. So I believe that there's a time for that serious competition to take place, that student athletes come to college with an agent and they start getting paid. Bottom line. Pay them. That's it.
If we weren't forced to look for a quick financial fix, we wouldn't have to play basketball and football and all that bullshit for them nowhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem that's happened all across the board. Too many young athletes who are head off to play ball are not receiving their money, and many of them will not go to the WNBA. Many of them will not go to the Olympics and be able to run track. Many of them will not go play baseball. So when they leave, they burnt out. And when they're burnt out, many leave without having a degree in tow. And so there needs to be some type of compensation. There also need to be an opportunity for when they finish playing sports, the eligibility is up, then the university continue to allow them to mentor and bring that new group in while allowing them to finish their degrees. For all of those who do not earn the next level, give them a chance to get a degree.
Or give them a pension.
That's the whole different story, Ray. You talking about giving somebody a pension?
I'm just saying, like in the NFL, like when OJ, he got what, $25,000 a month in the NFL for the rest of his life that the Goldmans couldn't fucking touch. I'm saying, when you talking about playing, especially, man, it's about risk also. Dude. When you out there playing football, dude, you are risking not ever to walk. Dude. You out there risking your fucking life. You putting your life on every time you get on that goddamn grid. You're risking your life. So you're gonna tell me that's not worth. And then at the same time, the university is making, like I say, millions a game. So if you stay there 4 years, now they stopping you from even leaving, going to the NBA or the NFL. You got to go to college. So they gonna grind on you for at least a year. Mm-hmm. And milk it for everything they can. They're gonna keep milking it. After you long gone, they still gonna make money off you, off your jersey, off your likeness, video games. They're still gonna make money off you.
And that's why I say when that person signed that contract or that acceptance letter to go to that school, if they're making revenue off of you, then I believe that you own a certain percentage. And we have to come up with a bottom line percentage. And I always like to say 10% at a minimum, because that's what they're normally paying someone. If I had someone marketing for me, they're going to charge me 10% fee on all products. So I think the student athletes need to deserve a 10% payout regardless, as long as their name being utilized. Once they finish and the school no longer using their name, then they will have an opportunity to cut off ties, sever ties. But as long as they're using that person likeness, they should at least receive about 10% off of that expense.
I think the percentage should be. I think I'm not knocking what you're saying, but I think the percentage should be slightly higher, because the percentage of student athletes to go on to a professional career decreases dramatically.
Well, I mean, it could be higher, but I just threw the 10% out there because as someone who's consulting with me, they're going to get 10% of my money, and I understand that 10% is reasonable. 10% is a great start, and then allows me to be able to take away a nice percentage of profits as a business owner. But if someone came to me and the kid said, well, I'm going to negotiate 12 to 15%, then I'm less likely want to bring that kid in. I will pass that kid up for somebody else, because I want my marginal income wealth to increase tremendously, because it's one part business, one part greed. And universities are pretty much greed. It's business and greed. And so they have to turn these numbers. And so this is a negotiating factor. So I would say 10%. If they can get 12% out of me when they're doing work for me, that's one thing. But I'm trying to make that bottom line look real nice. And I'll start off with the 10% rule. If they can do better, we can negotiate. But right now, I'm not giving you more than 10%. And if you want more than that, I'm going to find somebody else to do what you would do. And that's just how the game works.
But when I get in there, coach, and show off now, we got to sit down.
And that's a center base. That's a center base. That's just like when they get these boys making $5.2 million to their coach, they get bonus money for every ball game they extend past the season.
Yes.
And that's the motivation for me with these kids. If you keep your head clean, if you maintain your GPA, if you get this many yards, there are incentives to what you'll receive above that 10%. I'm going to make sure you got free housing, make sure you got food. I'm going to make sure that your travel expense, your clothing, your wardrobe, all that stuff is provided in addition to 10% and your essential pay. That's what I believe is fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. And I also, I've always believed once I grasp an understanding of it, that especially parents for their student athletes, for their kids that's going to go off to college, when that recruiter come to their home and sit down and talk to them, and they saying your child's going to get a 4-year full ride or whatever it may be, that's not guaranteed.
No, it's not. Never.
I consider it to be the wool over their eyes. And just because a full ride does not mean 60% scholarship and then 40% financial aid. Mm-hmm. A full ride is that the school, the university, the college is going to pay for your education fully 100%.
Well, you know how the hustle works. The reason why, and I agree with you 100%. And one thing that frustrates me,
college itself is a hustle. College is one of the biggest scams being ran in America today.
And it will continue to run, be a scam until we rise up and then use our brains effectively. They're gonna keep on, excuse my expression, keep on fucking us. And one thing, the way they do it is, I see it every year, and it bothers me because they have what they call signing day. The student athlete who's running track, playing soccer, playing football, playing baseball, playing basketball, love to see a college coach come down. They give them hats, they give them T-shirts. No one ever checked to make sure that child has made the requirements to be an NCAA player. They have the statistics. So for me, on average, I would say about 85% of the time, that kid put that hat on, that kid does not even have the correct GPA or the right ACT or SAT score to get in school. So that whole year, they're walking around marketing for that college only to find themselves going to a JUCO because they don't have the grades. And when they call it, like you said, a full ride, it's a proper scholarship. And so mom sit down with the financial advisor and realize now I don't have the money to send my boy here. So what she do, because her boy walked around school with that Florida State hat on or that FAMU hat, she'll do anything she can to send him off. And that child will end up taking out loans, paying $10,000 a year on top of what's going on the field. And then that kid never finished school. So now he comes back home worse off than he was, because now he has about 40,000 worth of debt with no degree and no NBA or Major League Baseball contract in tow. So they just been hustled. And so now they are worse off than what they was before they stepped on to campus. And I see this all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I know,
about.
because I know myself. When I graduated from, well, I actually graduated from Taft Junior College in Taft, California, and getting ready to go to Mississippi State University. This is alluding to what you just talked about, not having the academic, meeting the academic requirements. Now, I graduated from Taft Junior College, but I couldn't still attend Mississippi State University because of one class. I had to take another English class, Comp 101,
yes,
as they call it. Now, so I had to stay in junior college for one more semester to take that one class to be able to attend Mississippi State University. And that's one thing I can say about my head coach, Al Schmidt. He made sure academics was one of his top priorities. If you don't have the grades, I'm not going to recruit you. I don't care how good you are.
Yeah.
You know, but I had to stay one more semester to get that one class. I met the graduating requirements from JUCO, but now I need to meet the acceptance requirements for the senior university, Mississippi State University.
Yeah.
And then once I got in there, as #1 recruit in the country, in the nation, and still didn't have a full scholarship.
Yeah, and they do that, but they do it on purpose, though. I tell everybody when we're looking at the kids taking remedial classes, I mean, how do you tell me my child get a full ride? They show up on campus, they have to take the college placement exam, and then they still taking remedial classes. And they take remedial classes for a whole semester. So those classes, if you transfer from a JUCO to a major university, don't even count because you've been taking remedial classes. And oftentimes, the average student athlete takes at least 2 remedial classes. So that first year, they're only taking 6 regular hours and then 6 hours of remedial C, which meets this bottom 12-hour requirement. Well, when it's time to transfer into another school the next season, they don't have enough hours to transfer because they don't have a university GPA.
Exactly.
This happens all the time, but nobody talks about it. So
all the time.
About this, man.
So Zach, are you familiar with Umar Johnson?
You said again, Ray?
Are you familiar with Umar Johnson?
No, sir.
You don't know who Umar Johnson is?
No, sir. I don't know Umar. I've seen Umar post. I've listened to some of his speaking, but I don't know him personally, Ray. You know, I
don't know him. I know you don't. I'm not saying you know him, the man personally.
Because you ask me questions, Ray. I got to be careful with the word they, we, Umar, shit, because I forget what I'm dealing with. So I'm not going to tell you I know somebody because you'll ask me next, what's his phone number? I'm like, Ray, I haven't made a number. So
no,
I know you, Ray. I know you.
No, I was just asking, how you feel about, what he's trying to do as far as building the school and, and I guess this whole scam about him taking money for this school and not. I mean, I don't know. I just thought maybe you had an opinion on Umar Johnson since y'all kind of do the similar, the same.
You know what, Ray? A lot of times I don't follow my fellow brothers who are in this industry because no disrespect to Umar or anybody else. Half the time they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they have this plan, but the plan is somewhat reactive and it's not proactive. And I think we talked a little bit about it last evening about planting seeds. Being able to plant your seeds, you may not be around to see that tree fully grow. Like an oak tree, it takes so long to grow to really flourish. But at least you plant that seed. If we don't get immediate gratification, then it becomes problematic for most of us. I'm one that believes that I'm in the forefront of making sure that our kids understand the importance of options. You have an option to go to college, you got an option to go and get your trade, or you got an option to take the street route, make the money the best way you know how. But that's an option. But so when you talk about someone continuing to build these brick and mortar industries without a real game plan of what you're trying to do, then I kind of ignore it because it sounds like static in my ear. And I'd rather try to get this next generation to understand that the most powerful thing that you can do is own your own shit. And so for me, I own my non-for-profit and my for-profit, so I can take my for-profit money and give it to my non-for-profit anytime I want to. I know how to shelter my money. I know how to build my wealth, and I'm not going to allow someone else to do it on my behalf.
You got any of your books nearby? You can Put
Well,
up.
I'm glad you asked that question. My latest book now is right here. This is my boy right here. It's called Make College Work for You, the remix. It's not on Amazon. Let me explain to you why it's not on Amazon. As an independent publisher, I can generate more revenue off of my own product than I would ever over the lifetime of Amazon. Amazon and most corporations want to make sure that they give you a quick sale, give you a window. If I took this same book and I just did a tour around the state of Florida and convinced high schools, middle schools, and college about my product, the type of profits I'm going to yield from this is greater than if I put it with Amazon or a book publishing company. In other words, I get 100% back on this. If I ran through Amazon, they take a large percentage of my book sales. If I go with a publishing company, they only going to give me about 18 cents off every one of my books.
What?
18, let me say it again, 18 cents. The average person,
Sound like a record deal.
yes, sir, a big time writer may get 89 cents on a book. They go out there and they sell 1,000, yes, yeah, 89 cents. So for me, that's problematic. I'm working my ass off, took 3 years to write my book, but you give me 89 cents, and then the next guy come along, my book is being thrown off to the side now because somebody's gonna have the latest and greatest. But for me, if I run my book to Florida and I do 100,000 units at 2020, I done made $2.2 million. The guys in Georgia haven't even heard about me yet. So I get to go to Georgia next, Alabama, and Mississippi, and my book is still fresh. But once I put it online, everybody can read my comments, see my materials, everything about me. And so once again, we talk about planting seeds. So I recognize by planting those seeds, I'm not gonna go after the quick dollar. I'm gonna get it slow. That's how it works. My granddaddy told me, he said, Zach, you have two male bulls and they beneath it low on the hill and they see a whole bunch of cows out in the pasture. And a little baby bull say to the daddy bull, Dad, I'm gonna run up there, I'm gonna fuck one. The daddy said, nope, I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna walk up there and fuck them all. And that's just the way I look at it. There's no need to be greedy, to get one.
Hey, so I mean, so what's your book actually about?
The book has been written to help kids on how to finish school in 4 years or less, learning all the different secrets when it comes down to knowing who you are, understanding the reality check that somebody's gonna make money off of you. How do you overcome feeling stressed when you get on campus? How to be more accountable to yourself, and how do you start to develop networking while you're in college? So when you get ready to get out, you already met the people that you need to know in order for you to gain employment and run your own business. And then the last one, dealing with dating, knowing who you are as you begin to date.
You got anything about fraternities and sororities in there?
You know what? Actually, I talk about positive self-talk as you're pledging and you're going through the process.
Did you say pledging?
Yeah, I said pledging.
What's that?
Pledging is a process of you getting your ass whooped, and
that don't happen
no more. That don't happen anymore.
But that's illegal. No one does that anymore.
No, pledging is not illegal, Ray. Hazing is illegal. If I ask you to pledge to my foundation right now, you can pledge to it, but you're not going to haze me to pledge to it. So hazing is illegal, but pledging is fine.
You got a point. They was always synonymous to me.
No, we call it pledging here, versus hazing. And pledging is a process of you realizing that you're going to give something to get something back in return. Hazing is willingly allowing somebody to beat your ass. And sometimes when I go down, you got an option to fight back. I'm talking from experience. You're gonna beat my ass now and call me your brother next month. I'm gonna fight you back.
That's not brotherly. That's not brotherly.
It ain't brotherly beat my ass and then turn around and call me your brother next month. That's not brotherly.
So did you join a fraternity in college?
I didn't join a fraternity in college. I pledged a fraternity.
You pledged?
Yes.
What did you pledge?
Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Yeah.
I think you're familiar with that group. I think you are, sir.
I heard about them.
I bet you did. Pretty sure you did.
I heard about them. I heard about a lot of them though.
It ain't like what it used to be, Ray. When I'm over down here in Florida and I'm seeing the stuff that's taking place to get people to sign up and walk into the program in less than a weekend, it becomes very concerning. because if I look back at what we had to go through back in the day, and I say we, because there was a group of young men that was on this particular line. We actually talked about manly deeds, scholarship, and love for mankind. And my work that I'm doing right now, I am continuously doing that because I pledged that. I said in my heart, this is what I want to do. So scholarship is number one. Manly deed and love for mankind has become so essential and so ingrained in me. I didn't realize what was taking place when I decided to pledge on Wilberforce campus. That point of time in the process will change my life forever. And so now looking over the time frame that I've pledged, we are still out there. I am still out there doing what I'm supposed to do according to what I pledged.
Okay. All
It
right.
is what it is. It is what it is, baby.
Yeah. So you got any tips for the parents out there that because gonna have their children at home for the next at least 3 to 4 weeks, as far as education and getting them tuned up?
Yeah, so one of the things I would tell every parent is a thing that we're creating with the Academic Doctor. Academic Doctor is my for-profit business. We call it Academic Doctor because we do a prescribed prescription for learning. And so I'm going to give you guys my meds this evening. When you look at the word meds, it's an acronym. And what we believe in, meds represents, the M represents mindfulness. We want our kids to spend some time maybe going for a walk throughout the day, spending more time focusing and concentrating on who they are and making better decisions. Sitting around all day on a computer, on a cell phone, doing absolutely nothing does not yield a return on the time that they have away from school. So in this mindfulness process is getting kids to sit down for a little while, maybe journal, or just sit in silence, cut on some jazz, classical music, and don't do absolutely nothing so that we can start to penetrate what we call the hippocampus. That's that part of the brain that stimulates your memory bank. The E represents, in meds, represents exercise. Exercising their minds to do the right thing. So throughout the day, you will allow them 15 minutes of math, 15 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of science. For the ideal of kids learning something new. I don't want them sitting around for 1 hour for each subject. Just 15 minutes, 4 times a day will yield a better return on that investment. The D is their diet. Being that we're dealing with this whole coronavirus, we have to start researching some of the foods that's impairing the way our brain functions, which happens to be a lot of sugar, a lot of carbohydrates, and making sure that now we're breaking our kids of these habits of eating a bunch of junk food throughout the day. And so if we can get them to look at their diet differently, then when they go back into the school setting, they won't be craving the sweets and stuff like that. And then the last one is S. With stress, we understand that we must get sleep. And so here's a chance to reset our kids' sleeping pattern. So we recognize with our meds that if a kid is participating in mindfulness, exercising, diet, and sleep, you change the brain of a child. And so my message would be, give your kids the right amount of meds, and it does not require a prescription.
Can you get those letters again?
Those letters is, M stands for mindfulness, E stands for exercise, D stands for diet, and S stands for sleep. And there will be a book out in August on meds. The academic doctor prescribes his meds, and I break down what type of food you should be eating, what materials you should be studying, what exercise you could be doing, and then how do you start looking at positive affirmation through mindfulness. And it's all research-based.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
I like that.
Sure.
Well, you know, I'm proud of you, brother. You're doing out here. You're doing good work. You've been doing good work for a while.
But Ray, you see where I came from, man. Coming out of St. Pete was tough. My father serving life in prison without the possibility of parole. Like I said earlier in the show, my dad was a pharmaceutical sales rep. He just didn't have no license. And the reality is, without having no license, then they arrested him. And for me, all the man was doing was trying to take care of his family. My mom was my dad's biggest customer. And so in her participation of drug usage, it wound me up in foster care. And so for me, going through foster care changed my whole life and my whole image about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to help more kids. And I was one of the very fortunate ones to have someone like Miss Dorsey, Miss Tiny, who adopted me, and she took me down the right trajectory to get me help for some of my childhood experiences. And then she got me counseling for my how would I put it? I hate to say dyslexia / ADHD, but for my autism. And I learned how to live with it. It don't ever go away. Most kids who have learning deficiencies, it will be with them for the rest of their life. Most people believe that you grow out of it. I'm still a young man who has autism. I just learned how to mask it better and how to live with it. And so many of our kids don't realize that. And so now that I understand that, I want to help more adults understand that it don't go nowhere. You just learn how to live with it. So that's what I do, Ray.
All right, all right. You know what I'm saying? We love to give you your flowers while you smell.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, you know, like I said, we're proud of you, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You repping the frat well, you know what I'm saying? You repping the university well, you know what I'm saying? And you, I'm gonna tell you like the white folks tell you, you're a credit to your race.
Yes, sir. Ray, don't start tonight. We only got an hour on this show. But what race is that, Ray?
You're
I know.
credit to your race, man.
What race is that? I tell my children, it's not about your race, it's about your ace. And what I mean by that is, in the word race, you have the word ace, and ace represents your adverse childhood experience, whether you're black, white, or in between. The reality is we don't been through some shit in our life. It's all about utilizing and seizing the opportunity to grow. I don't care whether you're black or white. I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, it's about that money. And if I'm going to play that role and consider a black man in America, then what am I? You know, if I'm a black man in America, what am I? You're not talking to my culture. You're not talking about my existence. You're calling me a color. And that's not the way I look at it. For me, I'm going to generate as much revenue as I can before I leave here with the mindset I'm going to take my money and help other people who need some services. That's just how it is, bro.
Right.
So miss me with that black stuff. Miss me with that shit. Because at the end of the day, I need my money.
Hey, you make the world go round.
But Ray, you said you was going to ask him a question.
What you mean? I asked him a question already. I asked him a lot of questions. What are you talking about?
What's the question, Ray?
About why he didn't.
Question already. Huh?
Why
Oh. Yeah, when we was talking before the cameras came on, I guess somebody posed the question, why didn't you join the live? And you answered kind of like, fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I was just trying to get you, can you expound on that?
Okay, so here goes the thing, Ray. Coming out of school, locally, every lodge is not the same. And when you are in a city where you see some suspect activities taking place, and it does not allow you an opportunity to, as I call, grow by belonging, it only hinders who you are, because by association, you got a certain group of brothers who are not letting nobody else come in and do what they need to do, then I stay away from it. I'm one that will always say this: money is the answer. Now, what's your question? If the opportunity does not allow me to present to help the community in which I live, I didn't say the black community, the community in which I live, I'm not going to participate in a group mind type of thinking. If I can't be an individual, I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
So then you run for mayor of your city?
I did run for mayor of my city.
So I know you without. So you thought you could win the election without being part of a lodge?
Well, for me to run for mayor was a learning experience. It wasn't about me necessarily believing I was going to win. I wanted to learn the structure of the policy without reading a damn book. And then I recognized that if I ran for office, I could grow my company, because no one knew my name until I ran for mayor. So I got all this free publicity. I never had to pay for a billboard. Everything was tax writable. The newspaper ran articles. I got free radio shows and everything that's under the sun under the name of me running for mayor. I was running against a giant. This guy had $75,000 before I even started my election campaign. But I was able to talk to the same people and get my message out there without paying one damn penny.
So you took advantage of the platform to put your message out there.
Absolutely, in a capital city, I did do that. I learned that from my Jews, but it is what it is.
Okay.
I keep
Zach,
it 100, Ray.
I
I keep it 100, baby. Keep it 100.
Hey, supposed to.
What's
Supposed
up?
I mean, I know your time is limited, so I'm you know what I'm saying, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. I
No,
I
enjoyed
got,
thank
it.
you guys, Ray. Thank you guys. I appreciate this.
I
Hey,
got
Ray, guess this. Guess what, Ray? So I'm gonna leave us with this. Being that when I was at Wilberforce, I was often teased and joked about not being able to say this one particular poem without mumbling, because when I used to have anxiety attacks during the pledging process, people didn't know that my autism was showing up, being yelled at, not being able to read facial expressions, being in large rooms, not wanting to step, not desiring to step was a problem condition that I had to learn about and realize that was a condition of autism. Loud sounds would bother me, certain smells would bother me. So I kind of kept to myself when I was in school for those reasons. So I'm gonna leave you with the test of a man. All right, you ready? There's no reading, no teleprompt. It's the test of a man. It's the fight that he makes, the grit that he daily shows, the way he stands upon his feet and takes life numerous bumps and blows. A coward can smile when not to fear, and nothing progress bars. But it takes a man to stand and cheer while the other fellow stars. It isn't a victory after all, but the fight that a brother make. A man, when driven against the wall, still stands erect and takes the blows of fate with his head held high, bleeding, bruised, and pale, is the man who will win when fate defy because he isn't afraid to fail.
that's
I
a
took
man,
that,
sir.
yes, sir. I took that poem and I ran with it only because that defines my life. Everything I've been through up to this point has always been about a test. And now that I've faced my greatest fears, I can move on and help as many people as possible. And so I want to tell you, brother, thanks both of you for giving me the opportunity to come on the show. I appreciate it. I believe this show going to blow up. It's going to be a big thing soon. And so I just wish y'all the very best. And anytime I can be a guest, do not hesitate to bring me back on the show. I
Yeah.
appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Try to get your Sans Marlin in here, man.
Say it again.
I'm gonna have your Sans on here. Have Marlin up here.
That's cool. I appreciate that.
Talk about some stocks and investing and that type of thing.
I would love that, man. That'd be a great show.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right, fellas.
Peace.
Hey, you guys have a good evening. Appreciate y'all,
All
fellas.
right, you too. Yep.
Peace.
What's up, man? You good? You got something else you want to talk about or something, man? Nah, you want to tell everybody you got the corona? You got the Roni? You want to tell everybody you got the Roni?
Nah, I got.
Hey, Ray, I hear you, Ray. I might stay, Ray. I might stay. Don't start. Hey,
Hey,
Ray, I'm to my phone. My little friend, I went to sleep. What can I get back on at?
I got the tequila
I still hear
and my olives right here.
Yeah,
All right, let me get back on this show because I thought I had a curfew, but I guess I'm being free. She went to sleep on me, so I got some time. So if y'all want to just have this, just you call the topic, we talk about it. We can do that now.
All right. So, what do you think about this coronavirus? Is this okay? Let me put it this way. I think that, like I said before, we've been false flag. I feel we've been conditioned and prepared for what's about to take place. I think that there's an agenda about to be pushed. They always do it when it comes down to stuff like this. They create this disaster and this reason to, like, 911. The United States knocked the buildings down. And then they made an excuse basically to suspend the Constitution and replace it with the Patriot Act 1 and 2. They took away all the privacy from the citizens. They did all kind of things behind 911, right? So now this is another, way for them to implement Agenda 21 and this socialist type society where you have to depend on the government.
Yes,
And see,
absolutely.
this is my argument for years, and I always said that. What happened when they shut down the grocery stores? What happened when they cut off your fucking water? What happened? We don't. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. I don't give a fuck how big your house is, how many cars you got. None of that shit mean nothing when that shit happened. What do we do?
Well, you know what, man? I'm gonna tell you this
Totally dependent. We're totally dependent on the system. We're totally dependent on the system. You know what I'm saying? We can't grow food. You put a cow in front of you, you couldn't get a hamburger out of there.
You know what, Ray? We've been talking about this for the longest. And one thing that's concerned about coronavirus, and I have to say this just directly as I can, it's a bunch of bullshit. And we should have been ready for this. We should have never stopped Well, after they had the first introduction to the Tuskegee study when they gave us syphilis. Then they turned around and put AIDS. They put crack in the community. It was so humiliating when they started getting their people on meth, and now everybody dying from overdose and shit like that. We should have been ready for that. And so as American citizens, one of the things that we have to prepare ourselves for is what I call the DOPE movement, DOPE, the Division of Policy Enhancement. Until we start understanding that nothing ever gets changed unless you change policies, we're going to continue to be fucked. Until we have people that understand how things are structured, has been constructed in America all this time, we will continue to get fucked. Until we become more economically sound and have our own shit, we'll continue to get fucked. And so for me, when are we going to go back to the mentality of Black Wall Street? When are we going to understand the importance of that we must beat them at their own game? When I say we, I'm talking about collectively of those who are economists, people that really understand what is taking place. The question becomes not if, but when. See, not if this thing continue to go on. We have to look at when it's going to stop. And right now, I'm seeing this thing play out. I'm seeing Trump not leaving office. I'm seeing the election process being pushed back past next year. It's going to be 2021, going to be pushed back. I see a certain group of people being taken out by this virus.
Trump gonna die of corona.
You think?
Trump gonna die of corona.
So if you believe Trump gonna die of corona, then when our vice, what do you think gonna happen when our vice president?
Look, man, Trump is not with this socialist society these motherfuckers trying to push.
Yeah.
You all keep fucking that Bernie Sanders bullshit and all that shit. Y'all let them motherfucking socialists get in this motherfucker. And that's what this shit right now. We about to see how the shit gonna be, because in the next 2 months, we're gonna be totally dependent on the government.
Yeah. I told everybody right now, we see it take place. What they're doing is
socialism is.
This is test study right now.
I say 2 weeks, within the next 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. It's a test study right now. We're gonna force you to eat what we say you're gonna eat. We're going to force you to receive what we want you to learn online. We're going to force you to stay in. We're going to tell you where to go. We're going to take all y'all money. We're going to put everybody's money in the same category. And you're not going to be able to get nothing but what I give you. And that's the way it's working. And
exactly. Venezuela.
And they've already, I think starting tonight, West Coast, San Francisco, they on lockdown until April the 13th. You can only come out unless you're going to, I believe, the doctor or the grocery store. That's it. Stay in the house.
This is a test pilot. And when I said something, it was ironic that on my social media account, I was talking about this coronavirus. And I said, well, who's going to protect the homeless? Are they going to stop courts? Are they going to stop church? No one can say anything. Okay, next thing you know, my damn Facebook account just went blank. And then they put it back up. And so for me, I want people to understand that when you speak out, you gotta be ready to die. And I mean that shit. And then why are you gonna speak out to be ready to die for some misfits? Okay, I'm sorry. But damn, these misfits. So for me, I gotta get my young people to understand that you have to sometimes be a rebel. And you gotta be a rebel for the right cause. But if you're just being a rebel for the sake of other people and not for your own personal gain, then you're a damn fool. Because this game been played before. And the reality is we need to recognize this game been played before. This ain't nothing new under the sun. These boys are trying to indoctrinate us into a mentality of dependency. And the last time that we fully depended upon America for everything, our black ass were slaves. I'm gonna keep it 100. And I'm not trying to go back down to a system where people are gonna just hand me stuff. That's why I say, Ray, I'm not trying to talk about socialism from a standpoint that kids should go to school for free. What I am saying is that if kids earn an opportunity to go to school for free and they have the credentials to go for free because they got the grades, they have the scores and everything else, they deserve that. I don't think that we should be paying for everybody to go to school, because we both know at Wilberforce, half of those cats that was on school should have never had their black ass up on that campus, bro. And so why are we funding certain people to go on campus who are not even college material? Why are we funding all these programs, these social programs that doesn't even work? No one's taking accountability what works and what don't work. So for me, I'm not a socialist, bro. I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist. And the fear of me realizing what they're doing right now, it scares the hell out of me, because no one is doing research. Everybody's just listening. And so when we talk about, we went on the last episode, we talked about meds. And what I said is that mindfulness, you got to get your mind right. You got to be ready for when things come at you. Exercise. You got to diet right. What the hell are you eating? You eat all this byproduct bullshit, and then your ass ain't sleeping. So when you're not ready to address what's really happening, your body break down. When your body break down, your mind break down. So what you do is you get in line. And what they're doing right now, they're forcing us to get in line with their agenda. And I'm not ready for that, bro.
Hey, man. Hey, Agenda 21.
Yeah, you got to get me pissed off over here, Ray. You got my heart rate up, bro. I got to put on my.
Yeah, but but it's like people have been sounding alarm on me for a long time, and we were conspiracy theorists, and we was, what are you talking about? Oh, they can't do that. The government can't do that. These people, and they think they act like the government is like the all. There's something beyond the government.
Yeah. I told everybody when I started talking about these boys in my city who has that money, those with money is my government, because those with money control the government. And if you're not willing to sit down on the table and talk with people who don't look like you, then you already fucked. Because one thing I can tell you about the people I sit around the table with, oftentimes they will share stuff with you that they won't share with their own cousins and relatives if they understand that you understand what's been going on. Bottom line, I don't follow that old agenda, because Biden said this and Biden going to get Elizabeth Warren, or Bernie said this. I don't want you giving me shit for free. I'd rather earn it in the first place, because then I know it has value. If you turn around and, like I just said, money is the answer. Now, what's your question? Everything that's going on with coronavirus right now has everything to do with money. They knew they fucked up on the stock exchange before it even took place. So now they want to blame the coronavirus. No, y'all been taking all the people money. Now all of a sudden y'all want to say that coronavirus is causing this. Nah, bruh. It's been going on way too long. And we just too damn naive to go back and check behind them.
Yeah.
Naive.
So what's going on down there in Atlanta, Aki, as far as Corona? They shut things down there.
Oh yeah. Well, we have. Last I heard, my wife told me that we have, I believe it's 166 cases, confirmed cases of coronavirus. An unknown number of actual.
A lot of that shit might be complications from AIDS.
Yeah, well, it could be. It could be.
Down in the ATL.
It could be that, a whole lot of things jump off down here. Mayor Keisha Bottoms, she declared the city of Atlanta on the national emergency. Yeah, national emergency. Governor, he requested for 2,000 troops to be activated to help with the what they call it, like the drive-through testing locations.
Yeah.
But we call them service stations down here. Service station, the Corona service station.
Okay, Corona service stations, and they're in the process. Which one thing kind of like I've been thinking about. They're in the process of actually building a hospital specifically for people that are diagnosed with the coronavirus. But they don't know when the hospital will be completed. When you look at China, they had the epidemic broke out in China. They built 2 hospitals within 2 days. They was ready, up and running, full blown. The government jumped on it, spared no expense. But us, it's
slow moving.
I mean, both of you all already said it. We should have been prepared years ago.
Yeah,
years ago.
We wasn't prepared. The thing that hurts me the most is that they wasn't even trying to give us loans to be able to prepare ourselves. Now they're talking about 0% interest rate.
But we're good. That's not going to work.
And then I tell people, I say, what the most vulnerable people they keep talking about is our elderly, because our elderly folks are the gatekeepers. They're the one that's more spiritually, more morally sane. They know where all the bodies are right now. They know what to do. They know how to take care of themselves. So when you get a society of just ignorant people, so we remove all of our elderly and we blame it on the coronavirus, now everybody else that's beneath 60 years old got to follow the path of destruction, because we don't know. Well, they don't know shit. You remove those that know, and you leave all the dumb fucks behind who's not willing to work, who's already been activated by these damn cell phone devices, who don't want to get their hands dirty, and then you can control them, because there's more of them that will do that. it's more of them who don't even know how to use a gun. So if you notice the trend, we sat around all this time worrying about school shootings, mass shootings. When the last time we heard about a mass shooting?
When Obama was in office.
Yes, and so what happened is they turn around there and they try to take all of our guns, our weaponry for us. We fall for it. We go and turn them all in. They start doing these gun buyback programs. Half of the young folks can't even use a pistol right now. Half of the people in our age group can't even use a gun. But you look at my trunk, my AR is ready. That boy been ready. And my guns all throughout my house, they ready. Because I understand at the end of the day, Mr. Zach better be ready for whatever comes his way. Our kids don't know how to do nothing. They can't even load a gun, man.
Did you have a gun at Wilberforce at school?
I can't answer that question right. There's no statute of liberty. There's no statute of limitation on ownership, and during that time, I can't answer that question, sir.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the question and shit. You know?
Well, to put it like this, I'm from Florida, and I've been shot before. So what do you think I had on me?
Hey, you said you've been shot before?
Yeah, so at the age of 16 years old, I was shot. And the reality is that changed your life forever. You don't ever forget that incident, and you don't ever forget that experience.
Was you stealing someone's car radio?
No, I wasn't in the process of stealing somebody's radio. I was in the process of not knowing how to walk away from a confrontation. And the best lesson is you don't take fists to a gun show. It just don't, your ass gonna lose every time. And so being from the streets and being violent and having violent tendencies, you can fight all day, have quick hands, but it's nothing like going up with somebody who has a pistol on them and all you got is hands. Your hands gonna lose every time. And from that day forward, I made sure that I kept my friend with me everywhere I go, no matter where I'm at, even in church.
Yeah, you better.
It is what it is.
You better.
Even in church, nobody respect the house of God no more. So for me, I need to make sure my friend with me, my buddy, and my man Jesus, we do our thing together.
So all right, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Leave it alone, Ray. Leave it alone, Ray. See, that was me trying to bait you with the word Jesus, because I know how you feel about my man.
I ain't know. What you mean how I feel about?
I ain't gonna go there, Ray. Not tonight, Ray. That's another discussion. We'll keep the topic away from religion right now.
But I see Jesus every day. Jesus ain't got nothing to do with religion.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna go there tonight. I refused, Ray. I plead the fifth.
I ain't gonna. Hey, I ain't got nothing. Hey, I'm gonna leave it alone, man.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it alone, Ray. I like your microphone, Ray. It's a nice microphone.
Thank you, Zach. I like your beard. You got a beard. It's that Rick Ross thing you got going on.
Oh boy.
Now, is it true that black people can't catch the coronavirus?
Well, you said they put on the news about an hour ago. Ibis Elbert, he just came down with the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Out there all on the media. So I guess if you want to call somebody, as we go back to the word black, being that he is from cross seas, then I guess you can say, according to our skin tone, there has been a tan man with pigmentation to be said to have this coronavirus.
Have you all heard about
But you hear this, right? Everybody who they bringing out for us to know and talk about are all actors.
Yeah, oh man, wow.
That's called.
And I mentioned to my wife,
Magic Johnson syndrome.
All these actors.
That's
all these actors.
That's the Magic Johnson syndrome.
Yes, actors. You know, you had the basketball player was an actor. You had a man with his wife, actors.
Magic Johnson say, nigga, pull your skirt down, niggas get viruses every day.
Yeah, man, actors. All these actors, baby. So it is what it is, man.
So you don't know what to believe. I tell people, man, the news is a TV show.
That's all it is.
They have directors, they have writers, they have the same thing. They take it from a TV show, they take it on the news.
Teleprompters, makeup artists. Just look at the credits at the end of the thing. Look at the credits who supply their materials. Just like watching a movie at the end, they give all the credits. The same thing happened with a news station. It is industry.
Look up the talking heads.
That's what it is.
They're talking heads. They'll show you, it'll be 40 different news shows in 40 different cities all saying the same shit.
Yeah, that's all it is, brother. So it's entertainment. It's entertainment purposes. And we are so dependent upon being entertained that we can't be free thinkers. And like I go back to my meds, mindfulness. I wake up in the morning, I tell myself, most people wake up in the morning, and the first thing they say is, damn, I got to go to work today. damn, boy, I got to go put this outfit on. I wake up every day and say to myself, today is a good day for a good day. I never start my day off making a list of things I got to get done because I may not even get to getting them done. So I make myself say, Zach, today is a good day for a good day, and I go on my way. I never talk about what I'm going to wear, where I got to go internally. When you start to talk to yourself internally, you have an engagement with oneself. And you realize that there's a spiritual light within yourself that allows you to accomplish anything. But if you start making yourself believe that you can do all these things, you're going to be tired before you even get out of bed. And so my mindfulness is the ability to tell myself it's going to be okay, Zach. Today is a good day for a good day.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Every day gonna be all right, baby.
So what's you all's idea about the coronavirus in regards to the stock market?
Go ahead, Ray. Take the lead. Ray, take the lead.
Well, with that, as far as the stock market, I really don't know. I think they're trying to get away with the paper dollar. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know what I'm saying, the dollar gonna go down so far where it's gonna be obsolete. You know what I'm saying? The new world is gonna be digitized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Paper money is gonna be archaic. It's gonna be.
I hate that thought too. That thought right there is more frightening than anything else because they can control everything that we do once they control our resources.
Right.
Because they put money in the bank. I tell everybody, if everybody say, how much money you got in the bank, man? Man, I got like $500, and I got like 5,000, I got 50,000 in the bank. No, what your ass get is a receipt. You don't have shit in there. When you go to the bank, you make a deposit, all they give you is a piece of paper with numbers on it.
Yeah.
You cannot take that paper to a store and buy anything with it. So what you have is a receipt. And you don't give everybody your resources. And so someone else is controlling your resources now. And that's some frightening shit there. That I can go in there and work my ass off all day and give somebody else check back to the bank, and they give me a sheet of paper claiming that that's what's in the account. Well, if that's the case, then give me all my money right now. And they'll take you through hell and back to give you your money that they told you that's on the bottom of that receipt because that money is not in that account.
No, they made it up out of thin air. They just punched it in.
We about to see what goes on. Only the strong gonna survive this here, brother. All this talk about suicide and everything happening, it's about to go down, man. We about to see some unprecedented numbers of people losing their lives and checking out because they're not gonna be able to handle the pressure that's about to come onto us right now. And many of us have weak heart, hypertension, high blood pressure, everything else. You cannot survive what's about to go down with all those ailments.
Yeah.
Now what do y'all think about how they saying this is related to the 5G network? About how the 5G network.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Oh my God.
Over in China, as soon as they released it in China, then all of a sudden you had the coronavirus because of what was it? The electric vibe or wave from the 5G once they activate it.
It vibrates. Yeah, it vibrates at the same hertz as oxygen.
Yeah, and so it activated the coronavirus.
Right. So I mean, I ain't no medical doctor. There's some brothers on the internet was breaking it down, like Dr. Inky, and Red Pill and Blue Pill brother, KT the Arts Degree. Y'all go on YouTube and look some of them brothers up. They actually breaking this shit down. Like they breaking it down and tell you what this shit is and how it's affecting the body and getting into the cells. Way more than these guys on CNN or they ain't really telling you shit.
You talking about where we talking about the 5G service plan where you can get things like at an instant like this?
Exactly. When you can walk outside and say, I need a fucking lift. And the motherfucking lift is coming to you. Or Uber.
No, dude, that's not that. Yeah, I know a little bit about that. I said with these next 2 days because I heard a lot of talk about the 5G, the Chinamen who came up with this creation and how they want to take them down because the economic structure will be deteriorated by this 5G movement. It is funny that we bring this up because just say it again.
I said exactly.
Yeah, it's funny that the day when the president was talking, he was mentioning some of the people, the guy over Amazon, is calling the president directly. I mean, come on, bro. That's some bullshit. So you are giving special cuts. The president did say that we're going to protect and support our airline industry. I went online today and I found a ticket to go to DC and back to Tallahassee for $149. And I can get on a plane on Wednesday and get there and come on back for $149. That lets you know how badly we've been fleeced all these years, man.
Well, the airline industry, they said today on the news, the airline industry is asking for $50 billion
Yes.
to help them this year. That's what they would need for this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's just
And
the airline industry. The Carnival ship, they lost, like, dropped down to 55%. They lost 55% of their business. And then you have the gambling industry, I think it's the wine resorts or wing resorts, however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
That was basically controlling the casinos here in Vegas. They're over in I think it's China, Yum China.
Wuhan.
And they're like Vegas over there now, because Vegas is losing so much money. They said you could just walk through there and not bump up against nobody's shoulder. They pretty much giving rooms away for you to come down in Vegas.
Absolutely. And I think this is one of the things that we need to do. Is this a perfect time to start traveling?
No, it ain't.
Huh? You don't think so, Ray?
No, because you're going to fuck around and get stuck some motherfucking way. And they ain't able to get your ass back. Nigga, right now, you need to stay bunkered the fuck traveling any motherfucking way. And the way that you got going on, if you say you go on the plane and it's 15 of y'all and one of y'all motherfuckers get where y'all going, they say they got corona. They come and find all 15 of you motherfuckers on that goddamn plane and it's a question your ass.
And they're going to know where you at.
Yeah, oh, they know that already. They know that by my phone. But my thing is, I'm saying if you really trying to go somewhere, you better
travel now. You better travel by. Don't go nowhere you ain't prepared to be stuck at for a while.
Well, I'll be stuck in my damn car because gas is $2, less than $2 a gallon.
When they shut the gas station down there, I don't give a fuck how much you use. You ain't gonna be. It's gonna be like on them zombie movies. They're gonna be right around siping gas out niggas' car, all that bullshit.
So Ray, what do you think a solution is to all the stuff that's happening right now?
Hey man, if I had the solution, I'd be Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what would Jesus do? That's a solution, right?
Well, I told you the answer.
Y'all been hold up, man. This is what I do not understand, man. All you churchgoers, all you dudes, I don't understand why y'all scared. What the fuck y'all scared of? I don't understand.
Listen.
Y'all been preparing for this. Y'all been preparing for this fucking day, to write the rap. Y'all been preached. Y'all been preparing. I'm just saying. I'm confused. What was all that shit? What was all that shit about? That shit all out the door now.
Can I ask a question for you?
Y'all can't even go to church and pray. Y'all can't even go to church and pray. They told you to close them up.
Ray, you ready for this? Ready for this? I will go to church, Ray. Okay? I believe in the light. I believe in redemptiveness. And I believe that we are our own God. And so for me, the things that I'm allowed to do and get done is because I don't play that spiritual game. I don't play that religious game. I'm a believer in that there's a God that exists. And I do believe that this universal that we all share together, there's commonalities in it. And I do believe that I can manifest some things that happen in my life and things not to happen in my life. But I'll be different if I sit there and tell you that I am a church-going, Bible-believing, Jesus-praising individual. And I recognize that we have become so brainwashed and become so manipulated that those who claim to know the Lord in that fashion are the ones who are so afraid right now. And so for me, I tell everybody, I've been saying this since you've been knowing me, I welcome death. I'm not afraid of it because I believe that if we have life, then death must be somewhat similar. And so for me, I ain't scared to die. That's just the bottom line for me. I'm not going to live in fear for the simple fact of I know who I am as an individual. And I think that once you get a chance to know who you are, then death is something that you don't fear. So a coronavirus, a gunshot wound, or something happen does not phase Zach one damn bit. And that's the bottom line. And so for me, I wish those well who've been talking about this God fella all this time and too afraid to stand up for what they believe in, because I'm not going to allow myself to be positioned or to worry like they're worried. I don't care. That's just how I feel. And I've been this way since I was a little boy. I've always been the one to go out there and get mine. I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to try to do right by others. But I'm not going to sit around there being someone who say, if I do this, if I do that, I'm going to go to heaven, I'm going to go to hell. Nah, bro. Wrong guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought you was gonna be a preacher when you left school.
No, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, Ray. I never thought you thought I would become a preacher. As much hoeing that we did. Now I'm gonna put we out there. It's gonna be a lot of oil being thrown, boy. Cause we was out there, boy. Look at here.
Hey, but that's who usually go ahead and be the preachers.
No, they don't. No, they don't. The
Jeez.
ones that find themselves in a situation is trying to find a sense of redemptiveness. And we knew who we were. So as we experimented with the women that we were with while we were in school, it had nothing to do with religion. And we wasn't trying to cover things up. I came into college being a hoe. I already had experience what it was like to be a father. I knew what I'm doing. I knew what I wanted. So for me, there was never a desire, even a chance for me to be a minister, because I was not able to live up under their creed. I knew there were certain things that I held true to myself that I could not do, and I was not going to get in the pulpit and play that game because I know who I am as a man. And so for me, all you would have been doing was put me in there to look out in the audience and say, I'm going to get that one, I'm going to get that one, I'm going to get that one. So for me,
And the Lord said,
and the Lord said, you got that demon in you. Let me go ahead and get that demon out you. So I was not going to participate in playing that game. No, sir. No, sir. That participation there, I can't do it. I'm not going to participate. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. So you can scratch that, Ray. You can scratch it.
I was just saying. I'm just saying. You know.
No.
You know.
Name one time I was at a church group. Name one time when I was moving force, I was at a church group. I'll wait.
When you was in a church group?
Yes. Or a choir. Or a meeting.
You done did all. You done did all kind of shit chasing some motherfucker, bro. You might have been in the choir for. You might have been in the choir for a minute.
I had ADHD. So I wasn't chasing. I was temporarily distracted.
You weren't in the choir?
No, I ain't do no choir, bro. Never.
All right.
Remember,
Okay.
I did a radio station, but I never was in a choir, bro. Never.
All right.
They tell you straight out, I was in a radio station. That's it, bro. That's it. The radio station. Me singing, I can't hold a note, Ray. Can't hold a note, bro.
You weren't there to sing.
Huh?
You weren't there to sing. All right. Anyway, man.
Change the subject.
Yeah. Mr. Akeem, what's happening, man?
yeah, I'm enjoying the show.
So, Ray, what you got in your hand there, Ray? Is that a cigar, Black and Mild?
Yeah, man. You know, I still got my addictions and shit.
I don't call it an addiction or a habit. That's a desire. Because if you want to stop, you can stop. So that's a desire of yours that allows you to transcend into Ray. So do you, man? I mean, that's what it is.
You're right. Yeah, I smoke mild. I drink tequila. I ain't open this shit though, but I'm just saying. If you're gonna be locked in, man, you better.
Hey, I grabbed me another bottle on my way home today.
Well, hey, Ray, so I guess I got to go by the store and grab me some there, man, because I tell you, ain't nothing in here. And I'm trying to tell myself, I don't know what I'm going to do being locked up in the house for 2 weeks when I'm always going places. I think that's going to be one of the biggest issues for people, is that for those who used to going, it's kind of hard. But you know what, I'm going to change the subject real quick. Now you know what it feel, or somewhat what it feel like to be incarcerated. This feel like everybody right now is incarcerated to a degree. That's just how I look at it. You're being told what to eat, where to go, how to go, pretty much what time we're going to bed. And if they want to really mess us up, all they got to do is cut off all the cell phones and then watch what happens.
Oh, they're going to go crazy.
Pandemonium will take place. If you
crazy.
If you cut off all the internet, you get rid of the internet tomorrow, this time tomorrow, and when they cut it back on, you'll see shit that you ain't never seen in your entire life, bro.
5G.
You see that
They're
happen?
gonna go crazy.
They're gonna go crazy, bro. That's when I'm gonna go make sure that my boy's loaded. I'm gonna just sit up in here with a book in my hand and a flashlight and just sit here and read until that fool come to my crib, because that's what's gonna happen. And I told someone I won't be surprised after these 2 weeks. April Fool's gonna be the joke. And I'm not trying to be facetious, I'm being real. But they say that we have no internet and we have no cable. And watch what happened then.
Pandemonium. Everybody gonna go crazy.
Tell everybody, get some good books, get some books and some flashlight. You got to prepare for this virus like you're preparing for a storm, because the storm is coming.
Prepare for the purge, Hunger Games.
Oh yeah.
The storm is coming, and they put too much on Netflix. They got so much on these television programs. They got a show about Atlanta right now. I think it's talking about pandemonium or something to do with some virus.
Shit, look at that shit. The rain. It's a lot of the 26 days after or some shit, man. It's a lot of motherfucking shit out there. It's called.
They've been telling us.
It's called predictive programming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's predictive programming.
Yeah, and so now once we get inside our mind, we know it's possible, but nobody want to believe. They want to make it out to be good actors, and that's why I say if you look at who they took out and all these court cases, they're taking them out left and right and locking them up because they'll tell you that it's already foreseen. The Cosbys of the world, this Weinstein fella of the world, they already saw this coming, bro.
Yeah.
They saw it coming. So what you do is you cut the head off the snake and let the body just wiggle on the ground, and then nobody don't want to believe it. That's what's happening right now in front of our eyes, but nobody don't want to say nothing. Don't want to say shit, Ray. Ray, you look nice over there, boy. You look nice, man. Like you two in the wind, boy.
You turned too thin and weird.
You two in the wind, baby. You need an Uber ride to get home, bro? Or you already home? You need an Uber ride, you already at home, nigga. What's wrong?
I'm good, son.
Yeah, I see you look that long day, man.
Man, I had to work today. You know, I do direct service and shit. These motherfuckers was still talking about seeing clients and shit. I'm like, man, y'all motherfuckers crazy.
No, you better Skype with their ass. You better Skype with them. Skype and then do your little pay online shit.
I can't Skype with my clients.
Clients like that?
Some of my clients, they ain't got a motherfucking roof over their head, dude.
Wow, bro. So what are you involved in now, Ray? What are you doing for a living, man? What you got going on?
You say, well, what?
What are you doing to pass time?
In the past time?
No, I said, what are you doing to pass time on a daily basis? I don't call it work. I call it passing time now.
Oh, I work with dually diagnosed clients, mental illness and drug addiction.
Okay. That's wild.
Yeah, so
that's a tough job, bro. I commend you for it, boy.
Yeah, that's it.
Now you got some stories to tell.
Huh?
I know you got some stories to tell.
Nah, HIPAA say we ain't got no stories to tell.
But Ray, you know, one of the things that I tell my parents right now, I'm having a hard time because nobody want to look at the study that was put out by CDC that predicted all this mental health talk. And it was dealing with a program called ACE. If y'all want to look it up online, it deals with what we call ACE. And it is by Dr. Honda with CDC. And they talk about the A stand for adverse, the C stand for childhood, and the E stand for experience. So they recognize that there's a direct association with adverse childhood experiences in our DNA. And they call it epigenetics, how our DNA has been switched because of the amount of adversities we experienced as kids. And now that we are adults, our DNA has been rewritten because of these adverse childhood experiences, which goes back to what you're saying with mental health. And so if your mind has been engulfed by these experiences, then it's very hard for you to understand the reality versus your imagination. And so your imagination becomes so vivid because you don't think nobody love you, care about you, going to take care of you. You started doing some activities that's self-sabotaging to a point that you start believing the foolishness inside your head. And so you respond accordingly. And they said it's tracked directly to adverse childhood experience, but they went so far to say that what happened to many kids, especially minority students or brown babies, is that because of the Tuskegee Institute syphilis study, that it had already started programming in our mind. And then we went down to this AIDS thing. Then we turned around there, and now we have the crack cocaine. So they went year after year. This decade, they gave us syphilis. This decade, they gave us crack. This decade, they gave us a disease. Now they're getting inside our heads. And so now it's all coming together. And we in trouble.
See, that's why when the people be talking about that reparations talk, I always say, man, we asking for reparations for the wrong thing. We should be asking reparations for the biological and chemical attack by the way of crack cocaine on our community.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what we should. That can be proven. That still is going on, and that's what we need reparations for. You can't go back
and syphilis and Brown versus Board of Education. We can actually have documentation, talk about what Brown versus Board did to us. We can talk about welfare reform. We can talk about the syphilis institution.
So what did Brown versus Board of Education do to us?
A bunch of bullshit. We should have never been separated.
What do you mean by separated?
Meaning that we started this whole movement where they said that we had to be equally educated by integration, which is a bunch of bullshit. We was doing perfectly fine. I just tell people all the time, I say this.
Oh, okay. I thought you was talking about the other. I thought you was coming from another point of view.
Oh, no, bro. No, we good. No. I'm keeping it 100. When we started trying to indoctrinate ourselves into a culture that we had no idea about, we then became kind of dumbfounded. And when we started moving ourselves into environments that we was not prepared for, it kind of destroyed the Black mind, destroyed how as certain people within that community starts to change. They changed the whole infrastructure financially, morally, religiously, and everything else. So we wanted to be a part of the discussion, and now we are. We can't handle it because we don't do what they do. Now we're hurting. So I tell everybody that Corona is our new Black Wall Street. I'm just keeping it real, bro. We started developing wealth. We started doing this. We started doing that. This coronavirus is America's new Black Wall Street.
I'm not getting you. I'm not following you on that.
So are you saying this coronavirus is an opportunity? It's something that we can turn around? I guess kind of use it to our benefit to better ourselves as a people.
Yes, to move forward, to come together and say that, I'm not going to stand for this when all is said and done. Now you're seeing what's really happening. It's our time to get focused, mentally, physically, and financially focused, to understand that we can live off of less and really understand what we're going to put up with. And so it's the same way they came through, when you use this talk, Rayshawn, with Black Wall Street, they destroyed the whole land because of jealousy and envy. As we continue to build our wealth and become more, we say, educated, they want to tear us down to the lowest level. So right now, this coronavirus is going to tear us down to the lowest level and force us to be displaced and to start all over again. But if we can get in front of it, knowing that this is about the trick of the game, then we can show them that what you're trying to make me think I need, I realize now I don't need all of that. I can live off of less. I can work collectively with Blacks and white and intermingle and do certain things. But what we're going to do is we're going to get mad and try to get out of this situation and go back to where we started from. And it was never intended for that to happen. So Black Wall Street, when they destroyed it, what happened? Everybody went and got dispersed and had to start all over again. We're not ready to start over again because we're selfish as hell. We think that we own everything. Our parents and our parents' parents was able to handle a little tragedy. We can't handle what we call being uncomfortable in our own skin. They were able to handle it. Because growing up, we didn't know. I guarantee you or Ray didn't know that y'all was poor, did y'all?
You mean hell yeah?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. But traditionally saying poor, I didn't know until after I got outside of my neighborhood that we was poor. I just thought that's where people live.
I went outside my neighborhood every day. It was called television. I used to watch Leave It to Beaver and My Three Sons and Ages of Enough, and my house didn't look like I ain't even had grass in front of my motherfucker.
We didn't either.
Hey, watch out now.
But Ray, you know what? You was rich. Y'all had TV. We didn't have a TV. My neighbor had TV. We used to look out of our bedroom window to our neighbor wanted to watch their TV.
Hey, well, you should have been stealing then, nigga.
Imagine a little frail 9-year-old walking around town with a TV on his shoulder. Picture that one when TV was big as hell, man. We didn't have flat screens way back in the day, man.
I had 5 big brothers. We kept TVs.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, huh?
We kept TVs and bikes.
Yeah, we did bikes now. Everybody sold a bike now.
So that's where my bike went.
Yeah. Your bike got sold, bro. We sold bikes and we'll chop a bike up in a heartbeat. Put a tire, rim, a sprocket from a different bike on your bike and mix it up, and then we'll paint them. We'll strip a whole bike, get a can, paint, and spray that bike, and then take the serial number, scratch it off. But see, back in my day, we used to have to go and get the bike registered by the police department. If your bike didn't have a tag on it, you were in trouble.
Wow.
So we changed serial numbers on our bikes.
No, we ain't had to do all that.
And we did all that.
We ain't had to register bike. That was if you was up in the Heights, in Cleveland Heights and Shaker, you had to register your shit. But
Yeah.
in the city, when nobody about to do their kind of paperwork, them being motherfuckers, they was like, man, they wasn't checking for that.
That's how they played down in St. Pete to give us petty tickets. But Ray, let me go ahead and get off this phone, brother, man. It's been nice, man.
All right, man, for sure.
Akey, I appreciate it, brother.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
We'll talk soon. Yes, sir. All right.
All right, Playboy. Shit, tripping now.
It's my bedtime.
Yeah, I'm about to get on up out of here.
Yeah, like you about to get souped up in that 5G.
Right.
Or that's the coronavirus. That's that Corona-19. You better run.
All right, Playboy.
All right, it's on.
All right, yeah. Peace.